Okay, we are live, and let me check on my profile as well. Hello, assalamu alaikum everyone. This is Tehsin from Sinner Downtown, and we are gonna wait a few minutes just for everyone to come in. Hopefully, everyone can join us on the Facebook profile, and then we can go live with Zeeshan Jalil. Zeeshan Jalil is already with us, so we are gonna make him wait maybe a minute or two. So for now, we are live on Facebook. Yep, got it. Okay, so let's wait a second. Let's wait a minute and then we can go live. We have people coming in and we have 2 viewers right now. Yep, got it. The podcast today is going to be basically about what virtual assistants in Pakistan are lacking right now in order to thrive in the job market right now, because the market has shifted quite a bit, and I think we need to get someone in who has the expertise and who has the exposure at the very best level to educate us and to help us understand on what we are missing and to help us get to the next level. And that is what we are trying to do with Mr. Zeeshan Jalil, and hopefully we have a few people coming in, and we will start at the 2 minute mark, hopefully in 25 seconds from now. Okay, so T-5 from now, and then we will go live. We have around 10 people, and that is good. Okay, assalamu alaikum everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to the ones in the United States, and good morning or good evening to wherever you are listening to. Either you are listening to it live or you are going to listen to it in some replay. Happy Monday, and today we have a very important guest. Let me start with my introduction first. This is Tehsin. I run a small company based in Lahore, and we happen to run some Amazon brands. People say we're good at it, but we're just trying to do our best. And that is pretty much my introduction. And now I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Zeeshan Jalil, who will be introducing. And he does not need an introduction, but I think he will have his 2 minutes as well. So, Mr. Zeeshan, over to you.
All right. Thank you, Tehsin. Thank you so much for having me today. And thank you, everyone, for joining us today. And assalamu alaikum to everyone as well. So, for me, my name is Zeeshan Jalil, and I am the owner and CEO of EcomFleet, which is an Amazon-based agency. We work with some of the biggest brands in the world and some of the aggregators as well. And if I talk about myself, I started in the e-commerce space back like 2010. I started with the eBay, and I used to sell like Damascus knives because I live in the Wazirabad. I'm based in Wazirabad and live in Wazirabad as well. So Wazirabad is known as the city of cutlery. So like I had a partnership with my friend who were manufacturing knives. So I took the part to sell those knives, and he used to manufacture those knives. And I had to run some eBay accounts and the PayPal accounts because everyone knows that at that time it was not just quite a piece of cake like today to get an account. And I have shifted over 50 accounts because whenever we started getting sales, then the account owner takes it back. So this is the very common thing I had to face. And then I started manufacturing as well and become a wholesaler of those knives. And in 2017, uh, in 2017, I started with my Amazon journey. So I started with the seminar, and I just started selling the knives on Amazon. And after getting into it, I I had some my mind was like blown away uh, how you can grow in this space. And at that time, I do remember that there is a, website amazing.com, and at that time in December, uh, they in, they introduced a discount, and they were giving their membership for 1 month for $1. And I was like, no, I have to do this. I have to get this at any cost, because this is a golden opportunity. And the original price was $99, and I did not have the credit card at that time, or the debit card was like not chargeable online. And again, I have to request my family friends, and they refused. Or so I had to reach out my client, one of my client, and he was so kind to take me that subscription. And once I got that subscription, I had only 30 days to go over the content. So like for complete 1 month, I just spent 16 hours a day to absorb that content. So this is how I started in the Amazon space. And I just watched everything, I absorbed everything, I took notes of everything. And then I joined a company where I used to train people. I was the lead trainer, and I am one of the pioneers who started teaching Amazon in Pakistan. And I worked in that company for like 2.5 years, I guess. And then I left that company, then joined another company as a head of academics. Couple of hundred students trained there, and then then left that company as well. And in back July 2021, we started our own company, this Amazon agency. And I had a partnership with Howard, and we just moved on from there. And I'm working with Howard for a couple of projects as well, and we are doing RPO as well. RPO is recruitment process outsourcing. So we are just picking the talent from Pakistan and hire them and put them into the right space for our clients. So this is how a short introduction, maybe.
Of course. Well, you really have a very inspirational journey, and that is why I wanted you to be here. And since you already mentioned the partnership with Howard Thai and the RPO thing, and that is why I thought you were the best person to explain this to people. And since you have an authority in Pakistan as well, so you are the best person to illustrate for virtual assistants on why that is not the best way to get started into Amazon, and even just to get started in e-commerce as a service provider, or let's say as a person who can build brands from scratch, because that is what the virtual assistant was pretty much, right? So could you tell me a bit about where the term virtual assistant came from, and like who coined it, how did it get so popular, and now everyone is talking about it in Pakistan. You have TV anchors talking about it all over the place, right?
Yeah, so like if we talk about like the Google term virtual assistant, it is like simply a guy who work remotely and who provides services to the client. And like it got popular, but it was popular, but in the freelancing world, but not with the Amazon space, because
Yeah.
Amazon space really took a boost in 2018. I would say in 2018, it was starting getting a boost. And uh, everyone was after learning the Amazon stuff, and started giving their services. When it got the virtual assistant actually got the boost, when people started to know that uh, there is a company, Upwork, where you can sell services. Upwork was there for quite a long time, and other IT experts, or you can say web developers, were using that. But when the Amazon people got to know that, okay, you can get clients and you can earn money, then it got a really huge boost in Pakistan, and everyone started learning the stuff, and everyone starting giving their services to the clients as a virtual assistant. So this is how it got popular in Pakistan.
Yeah, and in this part of the world, we've had a lot of boost in the visibility of this term virtual assistant, and in the Amazon space, maybe 2 to 3 years back, it was a bit, maybe you'll hire a virtual assistant, maybe you'll not, but at this point in time, everyone has hired virtual assistants, and they have teams which are working with them to build their brands. So, could you give me an idea of what happened to it? So, for example, at this point in time, I don't think that we agree that it is not the best way to do it right now. So, what is the best way to do it right now? And what happened to the term virtual assistant, let's say, in the Amazon space specifically?
Yeah, so the thing I would like to mention here is like the virtual assistant. Basically, they are starting uh, with everything. Like they want to do product research, they want to do sourcing, they want to do ranking, they want to do PPC, and everything they are after. So this is not the right way, I believe. This is the right way to start. At least you have a learning, and because everything is interconnected in the Amazon space. If you are not familiar with the optimization, you cannot do PPC well. And if you don't know about the product, then you cannot do PPC well, because you do not know what keywords will gonna convert, and what is your target audience. So this is what happened. Everyone started working with on everything, and they are uh, they are becoming jack of all trades and master of none, I would say. So this is not the right way. If you want to work with the big company, no, this is not the right way, because they have a separate teams on everything. So
Exactly.
if you are working on a brand growth, which we will gonna talk about in a minute, then you are not authorized to do PPC. You are not you do not have to do the sourcing, you do not have to do the creatives, you do not have to do the graphics, you do not have to do the listing optimization. They have teams for everything. The only thing you have to do is to grow the brand. Your your uh, uh, your energy is going to be like grow the brand, grow in terms of the sales, or in terms of like yearly growth. So this is how the big players are working right now.
Yeah. So you really mentioned a very hot topic on this. So you mentioned some big companies and big players. Where did these big players come from? Because in 2018 we didn't have these big companies and big aggregators. You have a new term now in the Amazon space. I mean, not new for you, but let's say for every Aslam and Akram in Pakistan, it's not very well known, and they don't really understand it that very well. So could you tell me a bit about them?
Yeah, so the aggregator means aggregators are the companies who buy brands. Like if I am building something, I am building a private label brand, then I will reach out to them. Or maybe if my brand is well known, then they will reach out to me, and we will gonna have a deal, and they will buy our brand and they will pay me. So these are the aggregators. They have raised like millions, or few of them have raised the billions of dollars, and they buy brands and they grow those brands and then like sell it to even bigger companies. uh, in past like 2018, Thrasio, one of the biggest, actually the biggest aggregator in the world, came in the market, and they started like buying brands madly, because when the COVID hits, the sales started to boost, and they got a valuation on that time, and this is what now they have to face. So they were buying brands on a higher evaluation, and now it's post-COVID, and the sales are like normalizing everywhere, and they are facing drop in sales overall, because this is the normal thing. Like after post-COVID, everyone is going out, and they are not relying on the online purchases. The sales are dropped, and now they are laying off their hires. So this is like how it came into the market. And right after SEO, there are so many aggregators now, like Benitago, SellerX, BBG, and D1 brands, and like there are so many, Perch, so many out there.
Yeah. Yeah. So, could you tell me a bit about, let's say, for example, I want to focus on the brand manager position because, as you said, you have to specialize in one thing. So, I would want to talk about the brand manager position because I think that's what relates to the virtual assistant very much because
Mhm.
our virtual assistants, they were trained on all of the trades. So, I think the brand manager position is relates to it a bit more than the others, let's say. So, could you tell me what is the brand manager position with respect to Amazon brands? So what does they do?
Yeah, so for the brand managers, they are like more focused people. They are focused on growing brands. So they have a team of everything. They have a team of sourcing, like I explained, sourcing, PPC, uh, graphics, and listing optimization, and everything. So they have to focus on the brand growth. Uh, they have to implement the strategies which can grow the brand. They have the quarterly and the yearly targets which they have to meet, and they have to coordinate with the other teams. So they have to make sure they are not running out of stock. They have to make sure their listing is properly optimized. They have to make sure the conversion rates are really good. They have to make sure the PPC is going well. They have to make sure uh, they are meeting the yearly and the quarterly sales growth, and they have to balance it. What does it mean by balance it? Like if they have a target to grow the brand the quarterly for like 50%, then they have to keep it 50%. If they are growing the brand to 70 percent, and they are doing a party on it, then they are like uh, there's a disaster coming on their way. There's a storm coming on their way, because the sourcing team has done work on the 50% growth. So if any ASIN go out of stock, then they have to face the consequences. So this is what they need to think on. They need to create a balance. They need to coordinate to the other teams regularly, and they have to implement the strategies to to the brand growth. So this is what Amazon brand manager is all about. Like he is really focused person in the Amazon space.
Okay, so I have a question that is going to be a bit
Mhm.
different. So for example, we understand what an Amazon brand manager is, but from an outsider's perspective, how is it different from a normal brand manager? Because, for example, let's say if someone is running a local brand in Pakistan, let's say someone from FF or some from Nestle, they're running a brand manager position in the corporate sector, and they're managing a brand in the retail space. So, how is it different for a brand manager in this current Amazon industry where you have positions in aggregators, you have agencies as well, which are sub aggregators by now, a lot of them, right? So, how is it different from a normal brand manager position?
Yeah, so like to be honest, I do not have like experience in talking to any brand manager locally.
Mhm.
So I believe I am not the right person to put a comment on it. But
Okay.
what I believe is, uh, what I have experienced is, the Amazon business is somehow a very similar like the retail. This is
Mhm.
only the this is only like it is online, and the conventional one is the physical, but the task and the responsibilities are quite same. So you have to do the sourcing, you have to do the product thing, you have to deal with the manufacturing, you have to deal with the marketing, you have to deal with the finance department, you have quarterly and yearly goals to meet. So I believe this is quite similar.
It is quite similar. Okay, so I guess anyone who is working in a similar role in the current corporate world right now will have a very good understanding of all the processes for a brand manager. And let's say if he's able to learn the technicalities of Amazon, he will be able to land a good brand manager role with that. Would that be
Yeah,
correct?
yeah, but I would like to share very interesting uh, findings of
Uh-huh.
me based on my experience. Uh, I have done more than 500 interviews, and I have worked with a lot of people around the world, and especially in the Pakistan. So if you are like ACCA or CA,
Yeah.
you are really good at PPC. If
Okay.
you are if you are in the IT field, like if you have done a BCS or any IT thing, you are really good at PPC because you know the algorithm, you know the Excel, you know how to read the data. So this is what my finding is. And if you are an engineer, like any engineer, chemical, mechanical, electrical, anyone, you are a really good brand manager, to be honest.
I have
This is
hope that.
what Yeah, so this is what my findings are, and I would love to know if
Mhm.
any agency people are listening right now and they have the team, and if they do a short survey on their own team and find out what brand managers qualification do they have, so they will find the same thing. And the BBA and the MBA, like me, they would love to work alone. They would love to create agencies. They would love to create businesses. So these are my findings with my experience. I mean, anyone can agree or disagree with it, but these are my findings.
I think I will agree with it because as I'm an electrical engineer myself, and I had really fun time learning PPC because it was all data and it was all right there. I couldn't understand why people couldn't see it. I mean, so I completely understand that and I completely agree with it. Okay, so let's get a bit specific. Okay, for the brand manager position, what are the roles or what are the skills required to get on with it? Let's say if someone wants to land a brand manager position in the next 4 months, what are the skills required for him to learn right now?
Okay, so there are two part of skills, like the hard one, you can say. They have to be updated with the knowledge. They really uh, uh, like uh, they really have to know what are the current scenarios in the Amazon space, how you can boost sales, how you can grow brands, how you can read data, how you can analyze the current brand. And I would love to ask question here to the audience, if they want to comment on my question. If let let's be more specific. Okay, so you got a brand with in the kitchen niche, and it has like 10 asins, and you have to grow that brand. Then what would be the very first thing you are going to do? So I would love to know if the audience wants to comment on it, so
Okay, I
I
guess
can.
let's move forward with it and we can have
Okay,
comments at the end. Yeah.
all right, okay, perfect. So the more is like they have to deal with the teams, like
Yeah.
I said, like the sourcing team and the PPC team, and to have to make sure everything is going smooth. And they have to present to analyze data. They have to record the data to present to their team leaders.
Mm-hmm.
They have to meet their goals in terms of sales or any financial goals they have to meet those. They have to check the products, like if there are any errors or if there is something wrong with any product, they have to keep an eye on it.
Mm-hmm.
And if there are like 100 or 200 asins, then they have to really work on something which can automate their processes. So yeah, there are supportive systems in the inside the big companies, but they have to learn things quickly. And on the other hand, if we talk about like the soft skills, you can say, then we are, I am sorry to say, and I am not my intentions are not to hurt anyone, but we are lacking in that, because I have done, as I said, more than 500 interviews. And the major rejections are on the behavior and on the ethics. People really need to learn how to come onto the interview. They nearly have to learn how to create a CV. They really have to learn how to Google the stuff. People really do not know how to do the Google. Like, it's the very basic thing, man. It's the really very basic thing. Just go on to Google. I would request, if you want to ask something, or in the audience, go to Google, find something, write your own thoughts on it, and then present to the audience. Like, okay, this is the question, and these are my findings, and I would love to know your thoughts on it. This is the right way, which I believe. If you are going
Exactly.
to ask the question right away, then no, people are not interested to answer you, because this is a simple question. You can Google it.
Exactly.
And yeah, so the ethics is the number one thing. I mean, people, I have seen CVs where they have mentioned hands-on training instead of hands-on training. So uh, and the behavior is really important. Like, they are coming on the interviews, and they are like yawning, and they are like uh, जी भाई क्या पूछना है आपको. I mean, these are the things I have personally faced in the interviews, to be honest. So we are lacking huge on this side. Your skill is not going to be valuable if you do not have ethics and behavior. So you need to learn ethics and behavior. And the English is really compulsory. You can say not important, but compulsory. You have to speak English. By this mean, like, you do not have to master it, at least fluent. At least you can deliver your message, and you can absorb the things. So this is the another thing. Next is the confidence. You do have to have the confidence. And what I have seen, people do not have a balance on it as well. The ones with the low confidence, and the ones with the overconfidence. So there is no balance uh, in it. And last but not the least, the willingness to learn. This is really important. I mean, I highly request that whenever you go somewhere, be like an empty glass, and fill yourself with the knowledge the other person is delivering. uh, People over here are like, I know everything. Like, I am the master, I am the expert, you can say. And when I talk to them, and when I ask them, okay, how much experience you have, I have a 6 months experience. Okay, fine. Okay, so the next question is, have you ever faced any failures in these 6 months? Failures? What are the failures? Uh, uh, grow the brand, and I did this much growth in a specific brand, and the client was happy. I mean, how can you be an expert without facing the failures? So this is the really, I would say, the really uh, a focused question, or you can say anything, I don't know. But this is the question you need to ask yourself, and you need to ask your experts. Like, I don't believe, like, if you haven't seen any failures in your Amazon journey or whatever you are working on, you are not an expert. Please don't put yourself into something which you cannot handle. Or if you want to put, then you have to make sure that you can do it. You have to have that much confidence. Another thing is, I would like to mention here, is the decision making power. People do not have that. They do not have the courage to make the decision. They they want someone on their back all the time, and this is the really painful thing, I would say. You, once you have learned the basics, go out, try them, and make some mistakes, of course, otherwise you will not learn. But if you have someone on your back, then ask them. People do not ask, and people do not make decisions. And when people people are asking something, then they are with the empty mind, they are with the empty plate, and they are expecting someone to fill that plate for them. Then this is a really like hard thing to say and to accept. This is not the way to reach out someone.
Yes.
You have to have something in your plate, you have to have something in your mind once you are reaching to someone who is senior. And I have a like request to seniors as well. Once you are growing your position, you should have an apologetic behavior instead of egoistic. So I would request, be kind to the one who is coming, and at least if you cannot uh, reply on time, then be apologetic and reply to that person later on, like after 3 to 4 days or 1 week or a month. Uh, uh, and like help people around you, because if you are not helping someone, you are just taking your knowledge with you.
I think that is a very good attitude because when you are above someone, you need to help them out, and you have to. And I think I come back to this again and again. But when you help someone and you help someone grow, you grow as well. That's what I've seen in my experience, in my humble experience. Of course, I have much less experience than you in the field, and overall e-commerce, I have much less experience. I was in another field before, I think last 2 years. So I completely agree with it. Let me summarize it for the audience as well. You have to understand, you have to learn your soft skills, you have to learn how to make a CV, you have to learn how to make a cover letter. Hopefully, we'll have more podcasts on that, and hopefully, once you learn the soft skills, then you have to understand English is a must. That is compulsory thing to have. I think we need to master it because, for example, let's say even if you are able to talk to someone on Slack, you will at some point need to be on a meeting, and at that point you need to be able to talk without thinking. If you are thinking 2 minutes before talking to someone, he's going to notice, and even if your point is valid, he will not be able to give it the right importance. So you have to learn English, you have to work on it. Everyone has to work on it at some point. Nobody was born English in this country. So even though we was in the uh, British means mindset a bit, let's say 100 years back, but nobody was born English in this country, so you have to learn it. Everyone has to take their time. So that is, thank you so much for that. And I think I just remembered why I invited you for this, because I saw one of your comments in Josefa's group, that is the PPC Shark group, and your comment really struck a nerve with me because it was the most important thing that we need to cater, because I think we do not lack in technical skills. I mean, we can improve on them, but I think we are,
I agree with that. I agree with that. We are really good at the technical skills. We are
yeah,
like, but we are really lacking on the other part,
on the
which
other
is
part.
really
Correct.
important.
Which is essentially important and as important as the technical skills as well. Okay, so my questions are pretty much over, But I have one more question for you. For
Yeah.
example, you mentioned, one should always be updated with his knowledge. What sources do you recommend right now to update one's knowledge? Even for the seniors, right? Because even the seniors have to update their knowledge each day, each week, each month. What sources do you recommend for that? And what sources do you use yourself?
Yeah. So, like, I wanted to include this in the course, which I'm gonna launch like
Okay.
a couple of days after. So, but I'm going to share this here as well. How I do it actually. Just create a separate Gmail account with any name, like any name, or the learning purpose at gmail.com, whatever. Okay, and just subscribe every freaking newsletter of every company on that email. So you have knowledge, you have newsletters coming in on that email. This is the very first thing you need to do, because there are so many companies out there. They are regularly sharing, releasing their newsletters, and that knowledge is a gold mine. And why I am saying get a separate Gmail, so you can so it is easy for you to just scroll everything, and as you don't get distracted, or something is not missing out. So this is the very first thing. Second thing is, uh, just subscribe the podcast, every podcast on the market. Like, I travel to Lahore. My company office is in Lahore, and I used to travel on daily in the past, and I did it for like 10 months. I travel daily to Lahore and then come back. Like, it's like 4.5 hours per day.
I know.
And yeah, so what I do is actually I listen to the podcast in that time. I don't waste my time. So this is the thing you need to do. And another thing you can do is go to Google Alerts and put every freaking keyword on that. So you have alerts keep coming in from the Google. So, and another really great source is the Seller Central forum.
Yeah.
So this is how I do it actually. Like, if you want a free, so I always have uh, two versions of everything, the free version and the paid version. So if you want the free version, these are the best sources for you, and you can have all the updated knowledge with you. And if you want to pay it, then of course get into the courses, learn the stuff, get into the master classes, get yourself into the one-to-one trainings. The I mean the real ones, the one who have the authority actually, who are known for that. Just do some research on that as well, so you can have the authentic knowledge. And this is how you get updated with all the knowledge and with all the things. And like, there are I always say, like, there are 5 stages of learning. I would like to mention it here. The number one stage is free. Get to the Google, get to the YouTube, and get absorb everything. That's free for you. They owe you the knowledge, and you owe them the time. So this is the very first thing you need to do. Second is the paid in terms of time, paid in terms of money, or both. So if you have time, you can spend time. If you have money, you can spend money. If you are in a hurry, then you can spend both. You will not get everything for free. I do not agree with that term or that statement, that you can get everything from YouTube or Google. Like, I do not agree with that. And you have to spend money or time to get the real knowledge. The third stage is practice. Go and implement what you have learned for free, but you have learned for with paid learning. Go implement and check what you are lacking and what are your strengths. Then the fourth stage is uh, work with someone who is better than you. So if you are thinking you are the expert and you do not need anyone, then you are on the wrong side. You have to. There are so many stages where you will be stuck, and you need someone who can take you out from those scenarios. And the fifth and the last stage is the networking. Networking is really super important. Like, you have to network with like-minded people, you have to network with the other experts, you have to network with the people who are really good at doing something. It is, I don't mean like you have to network only with the Amazon people. You can network with Facebook experts, Google experts, YouTube experts. So you can have a complete knowledge. Okay, I am doing this in the Amazon side, and this social media marketing or the Google SEO or the Google marketing or the Google ads can help me grow my brand like this way. So this is a really good thing. So, and I do remember that in the past, we used to have a local mastermind with some of my brightest students, and we used to talk a lot. We just uh, uh, meet somewhere in Lahore, Islamabad, or here in Wazirabad. We pick the topic and we started sharing our knowledge. Okay, these are my findings. What are your findings? How did you do that? How you have done this? How you have done that? I have done this way, and it got me great results. You should try that. So these are the things you really need to work on. And just don't be like hesitant to anything, because if there's a the famous quote, like, if you don't ask, the answer is always no. So you need to ask, you need to move forward, to upgrade with the knowledge.
Definitely. Okay, I guess we are at the end of the interview, and one last question: is EcomFleet hiring right now?
Yeah, we are hiring too often, and we would love to have more people. We would love to have more talent coming in. Just we are looking for the PPC managers, and we are looking for the brand managers.
Uh huh.
And if you have both the skills, then we would love you have in our team. Just reach out to me on here Facebook. Just send the CV and a little bit of introduction what you have done so far, and I will take care from that.
Okay, I guess that's pretty straightforward. And the people on my profile and hopefully on LinkedIn as well, they will love to reach out to you. We've had, I think we opened vacancies in our agency a month back. I think we had three vacancies this month, and we already filled them. But I have so many CVs, not maybe not to the very experienced level, but so many people are looking for jobs right now, and I think this could be a great fit for anyone looking for a job who has had the right experience and who has the all the right skills mentioned in this podcast, and hopefully they can apply. I guess thank you so much for taking the time out, and I really appreciate you coming on and explaining why Pakistanis or anyone in this part of the world are lacking. What are they lacking, and what they can work on, and how they can work on. And you shared quite extensive tricks. I follow quite a few myself as well. I use filters actually. So I use filters to manage all the newsletters for different brands that I manage or in Amazon as well. So that's quite similar, and I think you mentioned those great things, and if somebody could implement them in their own learning process, that will be really great for them. Okay, I guess that's pretty much it. We'll wait 1 minute maybe for any questions. If there are any questions, let me just check. Yeah. I don't know why they're not coming on the stream yard, but let me check on Facebook. Okay. Yes, there's one question, and that is the brand manager role. Does it require prior experience of running and growing own brand in past? So, like, do they need to own any brand before
No,
that?
no, no. You just have to have the experience of growing the brand, or you can, or I would say you have to have the experience to actually work on someone's brand, like for at least 1 year. At least 1 year, the experience you need to have for at least 1 year in the Amazon space, practically, not just the learning, but the practical
Uh,
experience.
okay. So what you're saying is you need to learn first. Let's say 4 months or 6 months of learning, and then you have to have one year of experience on actually working on it. So one more thing. So what would you prefer? Let's say if you were hiring and you were interviewing me, if I came to you and said, "Hey, I have experience in an agency, or I have experience with direct clients," what would you prefer in those cases?
Uh, I will check the skills you have. It doesn't matter if you have an agency experience or a freelancing experience, but I would definitely check which agency you have worked with.
Mm-hmm.
So that will get me an idea what kind of work you have done in their agency. So this is the one thing I will consider for sure. But overall, I will check your expertise, like what are your skills actually actually can benefit me. So this is what I'm going to do.
Okay, I guess that answers the question. Let me just check if we have any more question. I thought it was going to be a short interview, but we went on pretty
Mm.
much for 45 minutes. Let me just check 1 second. Um, okay, I don't think we have any more questions. So okay, hopefully, if they have any more questions, what they can do is they can follow your advice. They can go to Google, find out an answer, and then reach out to you or me or anyone, any senior, saying,
Mm.
"This is the question I have. This is what I have found. This is where it's getting tricky for me. I can't understand it. Can you help me?" And from what I've
Mm.
seen, all of the seniors help in this case. They always
Yeah.
answer. Because when I was starting out, I reached out in this same way. I went to Google, YouTube, newsletters, blogs, podcasts, tried out everything, found every answer, and then went to someone, "Hey, I need this answer. This guy says this. Mr. Zeeshan Jalil says this. Michael from AdVadger says this. The TNVT blog says this. And this is what I think. Can you help me out here?" And they always answer. Or you can just post in groups or anything. So hopefully they can ask that way. So I would again thank you for taking the time out for
My
this
pleasure.
interview. And I really appreciate that. And with that, I'm going to end the live broadcast. So Allah Hafiz everyone. I hope you enjoyed this
Allah
and
Hafiz.
check it out.
Allah Hafiz. Thank you so much.